Hi, this is Reverend Dan Pardis. I'm a prosperity preacher, which a lot of non-prosperity preachers tend to have issues with me, but that's their problem, not mine. I'm starting a new series on leadership. I learned my leadership skills, or I started to learn them, in the Boy Scouts. And then more of them I learned in seminary school. And then the rest of them I learned from being in several home-based businesses and also in corporate America before I started the home-based businesses. And it's funny that while a lot of these businesses groom leaders, how many of those leaders really don't know how to lead? I mean, they just mimic what the guy above them taught them. So this blog post series is going to be on what I consider to be the 5 basic skill sets that any leader needs to know. Those skill sets are in order of importance, actually: communication, decision making, performance management, growth skills, or growth and skills, and then responsibility. And we will take these on. Some of them will have 1 or 2 postings. Others may have as many as, in fact, the communication, I know I'm going to get a lot more than 3, maybe 4 or 5 of them for that, because there's just so much in communication. I'm not a great communicator. I will say that first and foremost. I had to learn everything I know by standing up in front of people in church and just doing it. That's how I got over my fear. You know, it's the old, if you're afraid of the spider, put yourself in a room of spiders so that you can get over the fear. That's what I did. I was afraid of talking to people, so I put myself in a position where I had to talk to people. I love leadership. I mean, I've been an assistant pastor in 2 churches. I've been a pastor in 2 churches, and I have been in three home-based businesses. I've been a foreman, a supervisor, and a manager, and I've also been a grunt. Yes, I was in the Navy. I know what a grunt is. It's just wonderful when you get a real leader. I've had them in my life, and I've learned so much from them. Leaders that just did it. And I thought they were natural-born leaders. Come to find out, there's very few natural-born leaders. There's a lot of self-taught leaders, and there's even more of class-taught leaders. And by class-taught, they paid $20,000, $30,000 to go through Dale Carnegie or somebody else and learn all the skill sets they needed. I didn't have that kind of money. I do now, but I didn't have it then. But I didn't get my money from the church. In all my years of being a pastor, I've never accepted a salary for it. In all my years of being an assistant pastor, I didn't accept one. I firmly believe that unless you are a full-time 100%, that's all you're doing pastor, you don't need to get paid. I've got other means to get paid. If the church requires it, then I'll get paid, but they haven't required it yet, and I haven't asked for it. Part of being a good leader is to know what to do and when. That's part of this whole thing. And I know I can get what I need outside of the church. Now, a lot of people have a misconception, I will say, about, especially if you're a home-based business or a multi-level marketing business like I've been, but also in corporate. If you own a business, a corporate business, if you own a brick-and-mortar business where you're selling stuff on the street, the misconceptions you have, it's my business, I get to run things the way I want, and my team gets to do the same. Nope. It's a misconception, because if you're not telling your team how to lead their people, even if it's only a supervisor to floor employees. So you're the owner, supervisor, floor employees. The supervisor should get a good skill set based on what they see in you. Another one, especially for the MLMs again, is we are entrepreneurs, and we like to do things our own way. And also some brick and mortars are this way too. This allows for us to be creative and think outside the box. Yeah, thinking outside the box is great when you're inventing stuff, but it doesn't do much when you're trying to lead 10 or 15 or 20 or 100 or 1,000 people. It does not work. If you don't have a common vision going down to everybody, the message ain't going to get there. And I do use the common language, ain't. I learned once a while ago that it actually wound up in the dictionary. Okay, whatever. But I was brought up blue collar, so I use words I grew up with. It's also a thing about being real. Another misconception is my team does not answer to me. They are the bosses of their own little sections, and they must manage their businesses by themselves. They don't want or need my input. Oh, that's so far off the mark, I don't know where to begin, because no, that's not correct. They need you. I didn't become a minister and then the next day, I'm sorry, I correct myself. I did not think I wanted to be a minister and then the next day was up in front of people preaching. I went to 2 years of seminary, another year of private seminary. I had to take a learning curve. I also did stuff like Toastmasters. Anywhere I could get learning. Why should I have to develop more leadership skills as part of what I do? I'm working for me, right? I've heard this from so many business owners, and I'm sorry, I shouldn't want to slap them, but I do. The answer to all these things is, how much money are you going to get if the only one working for you is you? Think about it. I personally would rather have 10% of 20 people's work than 100% of my own. It just doesn't equate any other way. You've got to leverage, and I love that word, leverage, because it means to get under and move using opposing forces. Leverage means I can take something big and move it with a little bit of force. I want to leverage the abilities of other people, especially those with abilities I don't have. If I can leverage those people, and Napoleon Hill states in his book Think and Grow Rich, and also in Outwitting the Devil, if you can get several people together with different skills, complementary skills, called a mastermind alliance, miracles can happen. We're building a new church right now. Not actually physically building it, but we're putting together the format for a new paradigm in a church, sort of like Joel Osteen's church, but it's based on Think and Grow Rich, Outwitting the Devil, and other studies I've taken which say unless you are teaching positivity and success-mindedness, people around you will fail. And I'm not here to make people fail. I'm here to make people succeed. So I'm going to leverage whatever people I can do. Now, this series is going to start, and there'll be breaks in it because I don't expect you to follow me for 12 or 15 weeks, just doing this. So it'll be juxtaposed. Like every so often, I had my first guest blog post, and it was so popular. I'm going to be doing that from time to time. I'm also going to go off subject on some things if something comes up that people really need to know. But it's going to be a learning curve here. And I really, really I'm going to be giving questions, and I want people to respond in the comments of the blog with the answers to the questions, because I'm going to take those questions that they answer, and I'm going to use them. If they're really good, I'm going to put them as pieces of future blog posts. Maybe not in the series, but throughout. And also, if they're really, really good, I might ask that person to do a guest blog post on me. And I always give notice of, the name and contact information for anyone I put either as a piece post or as a guest posting. So it's a way to get your stuff out there too if you have stuff to post. So I've been a little long-winded here, and I'm getting a little more used to this because I'm not used to looking at myself in the computer screen while I'm talking. Anyway, I really hope you learn from this. I hope you enjoy it. I intend to have fun. I'm going to poke fun at me. I'm going to poke fun at you. But it's all to get you to learn. So I will leave this with have a wonderful life, prosper in everything, and I hope I see you at the next post. Light and love, Reverend Dan.